Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. I'm excited to have you join triggers. Triggers. Just give me a second here. Hide this so you can see me. There we go. So, triggers are a big thing. What triggers you out of being yourself? There are many, many different triggers and many different things that can happen. But triggers, especially those that interfere with our vision, we need to be able to notice them. Exactly. Because if you decided that your vision was to stay calm in the midst of chaos and you're raising your voice, you're human, right? So it's normal that some of these things happen. However, if your vision is to stay calm amongst everything happening in the house, well, you might want to start just noticing the triggers that bring you to the escalation point. And these triggers can teach us about our emotions. Yes, they can. Because, for example, if you have a child that likes to roll their eyes, they're just going, oh, there he goes again. We can tell. That can trigger us into saying, hey, aren't you listening to me? Aren't you doing this and that? However, what if you were able to just stay calm and ask your child, I wonder what is frustrating you, or why are you rolling your eyes about this? What is it? Because your child was triggered. Otherwise, they wouldn't be rolling their eyes. Something triggered them. So, learning to pause and notice takes time. However, as we've been talking with Christian, a dad of 4, that these triggers that trigger us into being, I like to say, kind of someone else. Our brain was kind of hijacked, or, you can say it the way you want. You lose yourself. You lose your connection to your inner wisdom. You lose your connection to just being your calm self. You lose your connection to your vision. And I know that's not what you want. So, learning how to recognize what sets you off and how understanding your triggers can help you respond with more love and patience. If this speaks to you, stick around with me. We're going to talk about that. So, first of all, sometimes the last time you were triggered by something, how intense was it? Out of 10, was it like a 10 out of 10? You lost it and you got stuck and you were going in your trigger? Or is your trigger just kind of slightly, but you can look back and you can say, hey, I was triggered. I wonder what it was. What triggered my emotion? Was it the person's body language? Was it their facial expression? Was it what they said? Was it what they were talking about? Looking to see what those triggers are so that we can self-regulate and calm and stay calm so that our survival mode doesn't get triggered and want to keep us safe in a way. So we've got a dad here with us. Let me bring him up. Are you ready? Hopefully. Hello, Christian. How are you? I'm talking about triggers and how um, we can notice them. And I know you've been working on noticing your triggers, being able to just
Can you
give.
hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I've been listening the whole time.
Okay, but we can't see you, but we can hear you. So
Yeah, that's a little bit of the multitasking, Dad, because not that I've gotten this down, but as you start moving in confidence and you start being able to do things, you can practice your snap, tap, zap, you breathing, practice your self love. And then I'm a cold turkey kind of guy. So I've
okay,
mentioned this. I've chosen to identify as definitely passionate about what I do. And in everything that I do, I want to continue to be passionate.
yes.
However, allow me to calm down because I was doing some holiday cleanup from our holiday decorations.
And that's
Um,
okay. So why don't we
yeah,
just everybody can
jump
do
right
this
on into it.
together. Let's jump in together.
Yes.
Snap or clap. Breathe in deeply. Tap. Relax the shoulders. And exhale. Letting go of the rush to get here. Letting go of whatever is triggering you right now. Yeah, the mind is going like thousand a thousand
Yeah,
per-
yeah. The
and
people know there's
yeah,
Chrome tabs or computer tabs or tasks or text messages. We get it. We get it. And so I just invite everybody to go back down to the breathing because
yeah.
um, I've been dealing with a wave of and things that have been happening with fire conditioning. I'm sorry, fire conditions. Excuse me. Um,
How's your neighborhood right now?
Good, and that's what I was saying is
Oh,
right
good.
now we're only affected by air quality, and then it's kind of unfortunate, but so we're
Yeah,
we're being mindful
yeah,
with the kiddos and the wife, but we also caught a case of this COVID pneumonia. So we're not going to get into
yeah.
anything. It's just the
No, yeah,
reality is COVID pneumonia,
yeah,
and so those that have kiddos, that once it goes through, one, it kind of trickle effect type of thing. And as much as you want to keep them away from each other, they're siblings.
yeah,
However, let me say, we had my wife, with COVID pneumonia.
mhm,
Contracted COVID. My kiddos apparently some along the way as well, and
mhm,
then they also picked up some bugs from school and around,
yeah,
and so we're mindful now. Allow me to jump right in and say these are triggers, and it may be triggers for some. It may not be for others because
yes,
maybe the field that you are in, the field that you studied, or whatever the case. So,
mhm,
congratulations. And if they are triggers, still congratulations because you are now able to recognize these things when before. And I'm going to jump right in. Friday was very chaotic with health conditions and fevers running up to 106 on my son.
yeah.
And so I it just,
Yes.
and so
It
definitely stress.
and
Yes.
I like how you say that. It triggers stress.
Yes.
Because 106 is a quite a high temperature, and as a parent, we worry, we love our kids,
Yes,
and
yes,
we
yes.
want them to be safe and healthy, and when they're not, our hearts kinda go, "Ugh."
See, our hearts go in, but let me right real
Go
quick
for it,
interject
yes,
that.
that's why I
My
said it this
my
way.
my education, my teaching, my practice, my indoctrination, what he's a kid. He'll get over it.
Mm,
It's no big deal. He had an accident the night before. So this is Thursday. He woke up and he wanted his nose blown because we blow his nose. He's 6 years old. So I greeted him there. He had a little bit of a mishap in the bathroom because it was 3 in the morning,
Yeah.
and because he's 6 year old, and be instead of reacting like I would have normally, yes, folks, hey, what's going on? You're 6 years old. You're a big boy. You shouldn't be having any type of accidents. You know, you should this and you should that. No, 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 no. But please allow me to share. And again, that these are tools that I believe, yes, and somewhere along the lines we're taught in order for you to one day be okay, you need to toughen up. You need to be responsible. You need, he's six.
Mm.
He's six. And that did not correlate, please. And it's such a, maybe people say it's sad. That's sad. Absolutely. I 1000% agree with you. But I could not see that before. And even if I saw it, the hijacking of my brain was just boom. Because when I see him, and yes, as a parent, you want to protect him. You want to protect him regardless.
Yes, you do.
And so we go into that natural or that knee jerk reaction. And so I could have been upset and I could have whatever, or this time I didn't. And I held him and we let him and helped him change and calmed him down. Then we went back to the room. We laid him down. And then I caressed him and I did tap as he was a baby. Um, and I tapped on his back and I let him calm down and told him it's okay. He needed rest. That's
Yeah.
what he needed the most.
And being able to identify that because you were using your inner wisdom, you were calming your survival mode down, and you were letting go of all the stuff you were taught, and you followed your inner wisdom, which we were talking. So, congratulations. And your son, it's that connection with your son, which is a loving, understanding communication where you're learning, where you're teaching him at the same time
As
how
learning.
to listen attentively to someone and see what their needs are.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I
Oh.
want to bring in, because we're talking about triggers and why it's important to notice them. Last week, you talked about your teen or your
Oh,
tween,
let's jump.
12.
Let's jump into that. Yeah, let's jump into that.
Because
Anybody that's
you
been
had
following,
mentioned, yep. So noticing your triggers, how did that help you change the whole way things were going with your team?
I listened instead of I spoke, but after and on picking her up and funny enough, we had a little friend of hers whom we do ride share with, and I said, I want you to, and it's okay if your friend is here. I said, I want you to know and always understand that we are here. I am here for you.
Mhm,
That I am going to listen to understand, and
mhm,
that you are able to speak freely, questioning or telling me about your feelings. And
mm.
so I want you to know that, but I'm going to more so is continue to show you that. And so a big thing is, and we dropped off the little friend and then came back home. And mind you, and I want to kind of jump off because that was Thursday evening, drop
Mhm.
off, and then we kind of get home, and things weren't as high temperature with my son, but they were with my wife. Still with the temperatures, um, we kind of hear some coughing. So these are things that were already playing a part into it. Air quality,
Yes,
evacuation around back
yes,
Thursday.
yeah.
So there was a lot of, and then and then we had some clients work and other things. So
A
again, I
lot of
want to,
stressors, a
but
lot of stressors
a
that
lot
you were
a lot of
juggling.
outside influences, yes. and
Yes.
and, and so Friday morning, oh sorry, Thursday afternoon, after speaking to my daughter and I let her be, I just listened. That evening or that afternoon, she just came up to me and just gave me a big old hug, and it
Mm,
was just that's just all it was. And so I helped her, And I connected with her and I held her
Yeah.
and I just comforted her and I tapped on her back and just told her thank you and just told her that I'm breathing and then I'm working on the breathing part. We went through some of the things that I could help if she needs my attention. We have hand signals like the stop or now the
Excellent.
tap. And
Excellent.
so, yeah, we
Excellent.
activated some of those tools.
Excellent. That is so beautiful. And I'm so proud of everything you're doing with your family, educating. And there was one thing you said that I really wanted to help frame here. What was it? You said something. Okay.
Well, let
And
me repeat because I'm
yeah.
giving her the tools. I understood and I apologized to my daughter and I apologized to
Mm,
myself because and I shared and I communicate this with her. My way of dealing with stressors or things when she's not listening or not behaving, where it doesn't allow for no apologize. I wasn't equipped with the right tools before for me to say what I was taught was wrong. And although, yes, logically certain things can make sense,
yeah.
I can be wrong, or I would need to retrain my brain to not be so logical. Because as I shared with you,
Yeah.
is I can be right about the situation. Being right is not being compassionate, it's not being loving, it's not being understanding. And
Exactly.
I'm okay not being right when it comes to my children or accepting and understanding when I can do something better.
Yes. And your daughter, when she goes through something tough, she will not be afraid to have that conversation with you because you are doing the foundation that is necessary for teens to go and speak to their parents. That is key because what happens with teens is they start feeling, well, my parents aren't listening to me anyway. My parents aren't doing this anyway. Da 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 da. So what's the point? I'll go see another teen that's even in a worse situation, you know, than she is that'll give her advice. But that advice will
Or
not,
anyone
yeah,
or anyone. And please, folks, parents, you guys already know TikTok is back. Yes, TikTok is not going away. There's Minecraft, there's Roblox, there's these other RPGs, and we're gonna have dedicated rooms. And as we grow our community, because I want to keep you guys understanding that the people do not have to be in front of your child for your child to interact. There are so many ways nowadays. If
yeah,
we do not take an active role,
yeah,
somebody else
will.
may be given the opportunity
Yes.
because that little one or our partner, it doesn't have to be our little one, our partner is
Mm.
seeking something from us, and I know I'm jumping,
It's
okay,
okay,
because
it's okay.
I'm gonna connect
There's
these
a
things.
link to being present and attentive to our loved ones. That's the
And
bottom line.
understanding what they need, because I
Yes,
told you guys what happened Thursday. I
yes,
tell you what happened Friday in my mornings and how I missed because but Friday morning my
yes.
team saw me with the stressors and saw and heard and the commotion in the mornings, and she said she actually came up to me in the morning and
Mhm,
hugged me without anything, and just came up to me and hugged me. And then she was already asking if she could help me with the baby because he was going to stay home. And then my son also joined in, the next one, next to my twin, twin, because she's 12. The
yeah,
10-year-old saw it, and he's always super helpful, but he's also understanding rage and he's understanding kind of that impulsiveness. So
yes.
I bring this and I connect the dots because I
Wow.
could not have done it without having already shared. And
Mm,
it's just a breathing. And it's just time for me. and it's just time for the world to say, hey, I know we have a successful business. I know I have wonderful children. I
Yeah.
know I have a loving spouse. I know I have wonderful life to live. And right now,
Mhm.
I need to calm. I need to be present, first of
Yes.
all, for me.
Yes, for you. Because, and we've said this many times, if you're not present for you, how can you be present for others? It's the bottom line of self love, loving yourself enough to take a moment for yourself before you walk in, or you had a chaotic morning Friday and two of your older children were like, hey, how can we help that? They can do that because dad, and I'm sure mom's doing it as well,
Oh yeah.
how can I help you? So it has become a norm now.
No, it's starting. It's starting to.
Starting.
It's
Yeah,
starting to.
starting to. And
It's
the point
starting to.
is, yes, it's starting to, and will it always be there? Not necessarily, and that's okay. It's just keep doing your self
Practicing.
regulation so that you're not triggered by the other person's hurts. And how do we recognize what sets us off? Because that's the bottom line. So maybe you can share a few things that set you off to help other dads. Maybe they have the same triggers as you do.
I tell you, one of the things that is overprotective of my kids, overprotective of my partner.
Okay, so what will set you off? An exact, like very simple little
Strangers,
thing.
strangers. We always get comments. So strangers that are panhandling, but kind of rude. We've always taught our kids to be really nice and
Mhm.
generous.
Yeah,
So
so that'll
I
trigger.
know my wife and I used to, and I want to jump in because one of the things that you mentioned is in regard to like, but specifics. I'll tell you right now, one of the very specifics as a man, as a husband, as a father,
Yes.
is when I ask now, how else can I help, or what do you need help with? What can I help with right now? What can
Yes.
I help with before I gotta get
Yeah.
XYZ? Start. So she'll tell me, and then or I'll do some things, and this is where I trigger, and the wife goes, "Well, wait, why didn't you this and that? Wait, you didn't tell me. I told you that. Wait, why do I have to tell you? Wait. So I'm going to say, jump in real quick. Is that's what was a stress factor when things were expected, uncommunicated, because we've been married so long and things are just so routine, and I'm just supposed to know these types of things. Yes, I am wrong. And yes, I'm supposed to know what each one of them they need. And no, it's not that hard. But when you're in a running, yes, two, three different businesses full time
Yes.
and managing about 50 different ventures while doing other things and actual clients that we're managing, our clients,
Yeah.
things go like this, okay?
Yeah.
And
And you
it's
forget
not
a
just the
few.
money, but it's just so many things that are going. So I have to go, and honey, what do I need to do? Everything aside from this, and
Yes.
right now it's not a me time. I'm calming down because I want to actively listen,
Yeah.
because I want to be given. And you say, "Oh, why you do all of this?" And dude, that just seems like you're doing all of this. I will share with you logically why I'm doing this, because I would expect reciprocation. No, because that is the space that I want to live in. That is the
Yes.
world that
Beautiful.
I want to have, where
Beautiful.
I have a million things going on, but right now my attention is on you guys, is on supporting our community, is in uplifting and sharing my transparency, because
And
this is This is the world
Christian,
that we love.
being present for that 1 minute of doing the snap, tap, and zap to calm your amygdala down. And it takes less and less time as you do it, doesn't it?
It does.
It's faster. It's like, whoa, sometimes the 9 seconds for one round and you're calm and you're like, okay, I can hear you now. I've put everything on the shelf for a minute or two. Oh, yeah, right. What was I thinking? How am I to do that? Or, often is like, okay, and you go. So I'd love for listeners, or if you watch this later on, to share what triggers are you starting to notice by sharing this in the chat. We are learning from one another. So Christian shared some amazing ways that things are triggered. Something that will trigger me. What's one thing that triggers me? Oh my gosh, I don't know. If I just picked up and somebody goes behind and puts something down on the ground, that used to trigger me. Now it's like, oh, okay. Could you pick this up, or are you planning to pick it up soon? Or, depending on if you've got guests coming over or not, the expectation changes, right? And kids
Boom,
learn that our
boom.
expectations can change.
Expectations.
Yes. And we
Let
can
me, let
talk.
me, let,
Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to adjust. I wanted to adjust because of what you said is sharing that in the comments, sharing that in the messages. If you're not prepared to, if write it down. If you don't
Yes,
even want to share,
yes,
just take an action, speak it out. And I say this because fear is such. I was speaking with Jason from the Solutions for Change in Vista nonprofit that opted out to not take federal grant money because they wanted to continue their doing their mission the way that they've been doing it. They've just celebrated 25 years. Let me jump in.
wow.
Fear can be
Yes,
such a deceitful
yes,
trickster
yes,
because once you go, here it is, people not picking up, or for me, it was me not understanding my spouse, or me not listening, me not understanding what my loving partner was telling me. And you say that's so simple, Christian. We can sit here and have conversations about what's simple to
it
you.
is
That's not
not
simple to
so
me.
simple. It's not
Well,
so
hold on.
simple.
I'm going to have a professional jump on in here, but what I was taught was yes, it's simple. Shut up,
Mhm. Yes,
listen, and do what you're told.
yeah,
So you're absolutely right.
yeah.
It is simple, but it can be simple if you're taught wrong, and it can be simple and easy, and we can always change it. Now, absolutely. Come on in, Christine, and share that because
So it's our responsibility to pay attention to what triggers us. Is it a smell? Is it a sound? Is it something we see? Is it something we hear? Is it every time there's an event that your spouse says, oh, we got to go to the in laws? What is it that triggers you? And then right away, start doing the snap, tap, zap. Breathe
mhm.
in, relax the shoulders, and exhale. And keep doing it until you're able to imagine that you are in that place or in front of that event or in front of the situation and you're calm. And when I started doing this, I would watch TV shows with characters that had that type of personality. And I would imagine that I'm the character and just breathe, snap, tap, zap. And then it's easier to notice the triggers in the character first and then noticing them in us. Because sometimes we just don't want to see that that's who we are and that's how we are being. We don't want to see it. And that is super important. And our time is up. And I know you want to say something
Yeah.
else. Go
Or
big.
how like we used to be, or like how we used to be, or like how we acted, or like what we're changing from. So just
Yeah.
keep in mind one foot in front of the other. Give
Yeah.
yourself grace. You're doing it. You're going to get better. It's going to
Yeah.
get better. You
Yeah.
just got to keep practicing it. And if this sounds insane, listen, we can't keep up picking up the same bricks and trying to build something else because we're limited to the amount of bricks and to the techniques that we have been doing things for different years. So I give you new bricklaying. And now we tell you, you can take away and destroy that brick and you can make it whatever shape and whatever you need. Be
Yeah.
good to yourself. Be good to
Good to
yourself
yourself.
always.
Take care, everyone. Thank you for being here. It was amazing to have you join us today. So, see you tomorrow for Snap, Tap, Zap the triggers. So, today was Notice Your Triggers, and see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let your friends know about the ripple effect of love for dads and families.